crochet friends, I'm Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in on part 2 of our granny square stitch. Now part 1, if you were following, is how to make the granny squares, and you need to make 8 of them for this crochet along. Or if you're just needing to know how to seam up granny squares, this will also help. And we are going to start with the horizontal seam. So just grab 2 of your granny squares, grab the same medium weight yarn that you've been using, any color, and your same 5.25 millimeter hook. That's all you need. So to get started, I'm going to grab my first 2 granny squares. You need to start with a slip knot. So if you don't know, get your tail about 3 or 4 inches long. Pinch that between your thumb and pointer. Pinch the other working yarn between your middle and ring finger. It'll make a loop. Make a heart with your thumb and pointer finger. Go underneath that loop with your palm facing up. Turn your palm facing down so it makes an X. Twist your right wrist towards your left. Grab that yarn now. Pinch it and then let the yarn above fall off your fingers and move your hand slowly away, and it will turn into your slip knot. Okay, so you need to identify on your corners your 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. You need that second chain, and you need the back loop of that chain. Now, if you don't know, there's front loops and back loops. Front loops, back loops. You need the back loop of your bottom granny square. So that's my first chain, that's my second chain, and I need that back loop of it. Like so, just the back loop. Now you can put that down, grab your top granny square, and in that same corner you need to find your 3 chains. You need that second chain, the middle chain, and now you're going to be grabbing your front loops. So these are going to be the ones closer to the edge of this work. So my first, second, and I need it to go under this loop. Just your front loop. Like so. Now put your slip knot on your crochet hook. Pull it up a little bit, not too snug, and then pull through both of those loops. Now I'm just going to get rid of my tail so that you don't see it in this video, but otherwise I would be laying it down. It's just too much yarn to see and work with because white is already hard to see. Okay, so now you have your next chain. Go in that back loop of it, and then you need to find, see, I'm in this loop, so go in your next loop. That'll be your chain. That front loop is right there, like so. And your working yarn is always up and above both of your granny squares. It's not underneath between them. It is up above and out the way. Now yarn over one time, pull through both of those back and front loops. You have 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, pull through both, and you did a single crochet. Now we are at a double crochet. Front loop, back loop, go in that back loop, and then you should have a double crochet front loop right across. Like so. Wrap your yarn around, pull through both of those loops, 2 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn around, go through both. Now you're at your second double crochet, go in that back loop, in your 1, 2, 3, that's your second crochet, go in the front loop, wrap your yarn around, go through those, wrap your yarn around, and go through your 2 loops. And you're on your third double crochet, go in that back loop, that's your last double crochet, go in that front loop. and go as slow as you need till you get the hang of it. Now you're in a chain 1. Here's the front loop, there's the back loop. Go in your back loop. There is your chain 1. Go in the front loop. Wrap your yarn around, go through both those loops. Wrap your yarn around, go through 2. Now you're back at a cluster of 3 double crochets. Back loop, front loop, wrap your yarn around, back loop, front loop, and just keep doing that, matching up all of your loops. Now you need to do your first and second chain on the corner. So there's your first one, go into that back loop, and your first chain is right there, go into that front loop. And your second chain is right there, and my second chain is right here. Perfect. Now you've seamed 2 granny squares, and like I said, I would have laid this along my work. This would have been weaved in, but that's okay. I just didn't want that to be in the way of this video because it's already hard enough to see white. Now grab your other 2 and identify your second chain and just continue. So go in the back loop and your second chain. It's my first, my second, go in that front loop like so. Remember, your yarn is still up above, out the way. Pull through, yarn over and pull through. Your third chain is right there. And my third chain is right here. Yarn over, and just continue. Okay, so now I am at a chain 3 where I have added my white for this granny square, and you won't see a front and back loop as clear as the other stitches. So just try to go in a loop that looks nearest to the back. It's the best, because see, that would be the next back loop of a double crochet. So you're pretty much in the right spot. You will run into that. So you need to learn it at some point, because all sides will have a stitch going in it at some point, and you will have to know what stitch to go in if it's not a clear as day back loop or front loop. And my last chain, my chain 2, so end and begin with chain 2s. Now you can yarn over, pull through, give yourself enough to sew in, because you are done with this side. Now turn your work to the left that you're working horizontal again, even though this will be the vertical. But it's just easier to hold it in the same way. And so just start the same way with the second chain back loop, second chain front loop. I will meet you when you get towards this area if it looks difficult. Okay, so on my last cluster, I'm on that second double crochet. This is my third double crochet. And since we started on chain 2, there should be one chain available right here. Front loop, back loop, go in that back loop. Maybe pull it up a little bit for you. And there's another available chain right here, because we did chain 2. There's one left, like so. Wrap your yarn around, go through, wrap your yarn around, go through. Now all of the chains are taken, so I don't mess with anything in between to get it to go over. It goes over just fine by going over to that last chain, because you were in a chain 2, so there's an available chain over here, and there's an available chain right here. Go in just like before. Yes, Doc Doc. Yarn over. Sorry, my cat jumped up and jumped down. It made the camera move like so. I'm at a double crochet now. You're at a double crochet across, and it all matches up, and then you just continue. And now you end on your chain 2 as well. That was my first chain. That's my second chain. Always start and end smack dab on that corner, which is the chain 2. Now you can yarn over, pull through, give yourself some yarn wherever my scissors went. Okay. Okay, so now that you have all 4 and all 4 seamed up, this is your next step. We're going to seam both of these 4 blocks, the right, the bottom, and the left side together. So make sure your vertical, which it's popped up over your first seam, so just make sure that they match like so. Turn them to the right, one turn, and then just take one of your squares below the other like this. So now your vertical, the one that's popped, is facing horizontal. This one is popped, is facing horizontal. You're going to start with this seam, and I will meet you in this spot. You do the same thing where you find your chain 3, 1, 2, and that second back loop, and then 1, 2, front loop, and then just continue what we've been doing. All right, so I did my 3 double crochets, and again, you should have an available chain 1. So go in that, go in your other available chain 1, do your single crochet, and now you're going to go in your first single crochet from your seam, so both of those, grab both of those loops, go under, and you're going to, on the same right side, go under the other first single crochet. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's how you get past this seam. Now you have your available chain 1 and just continue along like before. Okay, so I am at my last double crochet, chain 1, chain 1, and chain 2. And what you're gonna do is do another single crochet in that same chain 2 right next to each other. Now, since this is seamed, you can no longer, you know, seam with both of the projects flat. They're gonna have to be sandwiched together now, and it looks a little bit different, but if you just turn your work, you'll still see your fronts, and you just kind of have to twist the back granny square blocks. It'll just take a little bit more time. So you have your 2 single crochets, and now you still have one more chain, the back loop, the front loop, do a single crochet, just one single crochet all the way across this side, and you will have your chain 1 available. Keep going in that just like before. Go in your other chain 1 like so, and you find your first, now turn it this way, your first single crochet, go under both of those loops. You may have to turn your seam a little bit, both of those loops like so. Move your yarn to the right so that you can find your other first. Go from the right side over both of those loops, wrap your yarn around, go through 2, scoot them over, 2 of those loops, wrap your yarn around, go through 2. I will hide my little tail from when we seamed. And you're back at your chain 1, in that back loop, find your other available, sorry, that's my chain 1, and then go all the way across till you get to your corner. Okay, I did my double crochets, so I'm on that corner. There's your chain 1, your other chain 1, and in your chain 2 space, do 2 single crochets. 1 in that same space, 2. Now turn your work, and this is your last side that you're gonna do. Just continue. There's your chain 3, Find your other, chain 3. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so I'm getting towards the end. I did my 3rd double crochet. Go in your chain 1. And do 1 single crochet only in your chain 2, because it's not a corner. Yarn over, pull through, give yourself enough to sew in, and you are done. Seam that, and the bottom, and the other side. So this part's open. What could it be, guys? Okay, so if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to guess what we're making for this crochet along, just drop a comment in the comment section. If you haven't already, subscribe and share it with your friends. Get them to crochet along as well. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Tag me on Facebook, show me. Crochet Garden Repeat, it's the same name. And hit the bell if you want to find out exactly when I post part 3 of this crochet along. Happy crocheting the granny squares. Bye, crochet friends.